where like we're talking about like what we're doing right now, just having a random conversation, and then now we do the intro. So
But what's the intro? How do you want to do it?
it's like welcome to the Revenge of the Dreamer show. I'm your host, Classy Liberal, and then you'll say your part. And, we have a guest today.
So
And
you
I
know
am
you're
your
live right
host,
now, right?
Chester.
Yeah,
And
I
we're
know
gonna
we're live.
kick some mess tonight. Yeah, some shit like that.
All right, guys. So we are live. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who have been keeping up, we do these streams every Saturday at 9:30. Tonight we are starting at 8:59 on my end because we want to respect everyone's time. We are starting it early and we kind of just go with the flow. But for those of you who have been joining, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for accompanying. And we have Yo Mama here today. Yo Mama's chest hair is making a return to the show. How you doing today?
Hey guys, glad to be back. I know it's gonna be another fun episode, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So yeah, as you know, the big thing that's happened this week is the whole Alex Jones situation. So for those of you who don't know, Yo Mama, you actually went to the InfoWars set and was in some videos, or how was that experience? You want to kind of talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I wrote an article about my cousin, who happens to be a dreamer, and he's pro-Trump and he's pro-the wall. So I got a lot of news at that time because, well, it was pretty rare that I had red pilled a DACA recipient because most of them are supposed to hate him, are supposed to hate Trump, but my cousin was not one of those. And so Alex Jones had me and talked a little bit about the article, and it was pretty awesome because I got to, talk to him and, try him as a person, and he was pretty cool. So the whole experience was awesome. I was even in the Owen Schroyer in the war room as well. Not a lot of people got to see that, but I was there too, and it was also an awesome experience.
Is he as intense as he is in person as he is on the show in real life?
No. You know what? I think that he's more like it's more like an act. I even talked about this in one of my videos where Alex Jones he this is his character where he attracts people. Like, for example, myself, I have to put extra energy, including yourselves. You put extra energy into the shows more than you usually would in person because you're conducting your show, and of course you have to attract your people. But no, he was not that crazy. He was a normal person talking, and even now, if you see his shows now, he's not yelling anymore, and it's for the same reason that he says that he doesn't want to yell anymore because everybody's taking his stuff out of context, which a lot of people do that. So no, he's not that crazy.
It's kind of crazy. I feel like no matter what happens, no matter what your opinion is, he is going to prevail because, even though I enjoy a lot of what he's made and a lot of content he's made, but, there are some disagreements. I think because of those disagreements are why people are going after him. These basically all the tech companies are going after him. I think this is the best thing for his show, the best thing for his brand. I mean, the show is literally called InfoWars. So,
Yeah, now his app has been downloaded like crazy, and I believe he's already like the top 1 or something like that. Because last time I checked, it was in top 3, and it was crazy. He just got up there overnight, and good for him.
Well, people don't understand the Streisand effect. It's like, okay, so you guys are going out of your way to censor him. This is completely playing into his narrative because now all his viewers, you can't disrespect that audience. Do you watch this guy? Do you know The Amazing Atheist? Are you familiar with him?
No, never heard of him.
Okay.
Wow.
But what about him?
So yeah, he made a video, and even though his views are kind of liberal, I don't really know his views. Well, I know his views, but he always says that he doesn't like the political parties, but he does lean liberal a lot, but also has some. He goes after like feminists, goes after left wingers, right? He just made a video where he was saying how this whole Alex Jones situation is not an attack against conservatism because people are saying, of course, the typical people you see out there, they went on Twitter and were like, oh, this is censorship, this is going against conservatives, this is going against people on the right. But you know, someone like TJ, he made a video talking about how it's not really like that. It's just about the new media, like, or not the new media, the old media like CNN, the mainstream, upset at someone like Alex Jones because he has a bigger audience, right? He has that independent audience, and that's something that I do like about his show, and like why I kind of, you know, tune my ear in, because he's all about, his show is literally called InfoWars, and he talks about how, you know, and it's obvious, you know, we even have Trump like talking about fake news and stuff. It is true out there, you know, all the bullshit and the propaganda, because we have so many sources out there, and a lot of people are just kind of plugged in, and it's important to not always, it's important to be skeptical about what you see out there, right?
Yeah, completely. I do see that this is mainly more of a money marketing thing, more than it's attack and free speech. Although they are attacking his free speech, but since they're private companies, it seems like they're trying to do more like a monopoly sort of thing. So I'm sorry. Let me ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
Do you hear something? Because my ears is just like I hear a bunch of noise. I don't know. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
It's the feedback. We can hear you. It's the feedback in your background, like the music behind you, right?
Can you hear the music behind me?
Yeah, it's the feedback. So you can't do anything about it. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I just took out this phone and it's so loud. I'm so sorry. I'm disrupting things. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Just you know, this is how we do. We roll with things. There's all things with live streaming, so you know, everyone knows how it is. But you know, we appreciate you joining the show tonight and talking about this and getting your thoughts. With the whole InfoWars thing, I just think that, like we're talking about, you know, it is what it is. What's going to happen because of, you know, because of censorship, because of that. I mean, did you make any videos about it, or because I didn't really see
I did. I did, but see, the thing is that I'm very careful with the titles that I use for my videos, simply because I'm getting started and I don't want the algorithms to get to me. So therefore, I'm trying to use titles that will attract the audience, but at the same time, I want them. I don't want to be banned by YouTube, at least just not yet, right? So, for example, I made the video where I'm talking about Alex Jones. There's two of them, where he started getting censored, and it's called "How Much Do You Value Freedom of Speech?" Your free speech, and the other one is called "Let's Censor All Those Who Agree with InfoWars." So so I did talk about it, comparing it to Tommy Robinson, because I'm not sure how familiar you are with Tommy Robinson, but UK just showed us that there's really no free speech at all, and it seems like the terms that apply to UK, it's now applying to the social medias that we have. For example, Facebook just came out and said that that they banned InfoWars because of talking about Muslims and talking about other things like transgenders and all this stuff, that goes against their policies. But at the same time, they just added all of this, and it's just like, so are we not allowed to talk about anything at all? Are we not allowed to talk about anything that concerns us? Because we do have a migration crisis. We do have some sort of things that are either committed by people under the religion of that rhymes with Islam, and you know, it's just it's like we no longer have that ability to criticize anything or form our opinion, when in reality the United States has those two foundations of the freedom of speech and the Second Amendment, so we can be free to express ourselves and share different opinions, and then form our own opinions after we hear out others. And it's pretty scary that we're not going to be allowed to do that, and we're going to end up brain dead at some point.
Sure, yeah. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that, you know, at least in the United States, we do have the First Amendment. We do have free speech. And so many countries don't have that, in the sense that we have free speech in our Constitution, and we have free speech in the law. when other countries don't. And that's why other countries, you can literally get, visited from the police if you post an offensive joke on social media. That happens a lot in Europe. That happens a lot in England. People talking about that all the time. In Canada, for example, as well. Like if you if you like cuss someone out or you say something to someone, I actually got into a pretty heated argument because, I love Canada and I have family that lives in Canada and specifically in Toronto, or a city called Mississauga near Toronto. And, I love them to death. They're always going to be my family. But I spent some time with my cousin. And, they live in a different place because, I was telling her how basically there was a situation in this mall near us where this lady went in and she was like cussing out the fast food workers in the mall because she was like, you need to speak English, and kind of pretty much being racist. Right. And I was trying to explain to her that I understand that that's very hateful and that's very ugly, but we should let society punish that action because now if you have the government intervening and imposing fines and locking people up for doing things, now you're giving power to the government where maybe today you agree with that stance and you agree with what's happening to that person, but who knows down the line that law will come down to bite you in the ass or your children or your children's children. And I was trying to just explain that concept, and for some reason she didn't want. I don't know if she didn't get it or didn't want to accept it. It's a very emotional like connection sometimes where it's like, no, if this person's being racist, I agree with paying fine. Basically, this lady got fined, and that's something that happens in Canada, right? And that's something that doesn't happen in the United States because we have that free speech.
California. It does happen in California, and that's the scary part because it's already here. And that's why
there's a case of someone being fined.
Yeah. They actually get fined if you're cursing because it's disrupting the peace or whatever. Anybody can just go up to the police and say, this person is offending me. That's what I'm trying to raise awareness, that it's scary because we're in the now where our free speech is attacked left and right, and now these private companies such as Google, Facebook, and all these other social media outlets are getting away with it because they are private companies.
Well, yeah, I do agree with it, and we do have a guest. What is up, Black Lightning? How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you for joining.
Very busy.
Very busy. Do you have some thoughts stored away for InfoWars or what's happening with Alex Jones?
Well, I don't think he should be kicked off.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what could easily fix this problem is if he just said that he's just doing this for entertainment purposes and not say that he's a reliable news source or an accurate news source. That could easily fix this.
Well, he was actually in a lawsuit because of the Sandy Hook parents. And this was my only criticism of InfoWars. Like I said, it's kind of like, on the internet, things are so binary, and it's not like that, where it's like a love-hate, and like things aren't like that. Like I can enjoy InfoWars, like some things they say, but some things I can disagree with. Like, is that okay? Why can't we live in that kind of world? Because then I'll post a video saying about criticizing InfoWars, and all these people are like, "Oh, unsubscribe, downvote." It's like, all right, guys, come on. You're not even watching the video. You're just having this emotional response, right? So that was my only criticism is the Sandy Hook stuff, because, when you have trust me, the Second Amendment is not going to get taken away. Like this, I understand the NRA does some things. This is another very off their topic, but it seems like every single shooting, some kind of event, he's always talking about, it was a false flag, it's a false flag, they're going to come take the guns. And then you got to the point where he said those things about Sandy Hook, and those parents are getting tormented. They're suing, which I do agree with the parents. Yes, if your life is actually being affected because of someone.
Well, yeah, it's being badly affected. In fact, one of the families had to change houses I think 5 times actually, because they
7.
7 times.
Yes, geez. They said 7, but I mean, what look, this is the same thing that it reminds me of, like how they label Trump as racist because some KKK members or this other racist people adore him, right? And then they support him. But how do you, like, for example, if I start getting a supporter who is a freaking maniac, how am I responsible for this maniac when it's just me that I'm responsible for my own stuff? And to be quite honest with you, I've never heard Alex Jones. Yeah, he might scream at the top of his lungs, but he's like, you will never take our human spirit. You will never take it. You know, it's like it shows me, to me, yeah, it's a character, but at the same time, it shows me that he's into all this stuff to protect humanity. So he loves us. It's out of love. And he's not saying, go and harass these people because they're actors, or go and harass blah blah, or go and kill them, when in fact, you know, Maxine Waters actually openly advocated, and guess what, she's still on social media, and she's a pretty hateful old woman. That Sarah Young, the editor from the Washington Post, she hates everybody, including the I'm sorry, the New York Times. She hates everybody, including the New York Times, because she put up a post in 2017 saying that she's glad that New York Times is getting sued. This woman hates everybody, especially white people. And she is still there talking, and that's the thing. It's selective outrage.
But it doesn't count, your mama. It doesn't count when it's against white people. We can be, if you're against anyone else, it doesn't count. So yeah, I mean,
it's ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous.
It is the obvious double standard. You know, and when it comes to Alex Jones, you know, that was the only thing is with the Sandy Hook thing. But
I think that there's more to Alex Jones than that. I mean, I have other problems with him, and maybe your mama might disagree with me.
Problems? What are the problems?
Like, your mama might disagree with me, and that's fine. But like, basically, he spreads like false information about like Mueller, and about how basically anyone who's in the Democratic Party or in the Hillary Clinton campaign is involved in some sort of pedophile ring, and offers absolutely.
Okay, let me ask you something, Classy.
Sure.
Have you read any of the emails? At least one.
Yeah, and it's things about hot dogs and pizza. It doesn't say, hey, we're in a pedophile ring.
Okay, so tell me why would Barack Obama pay $65,000 worth of hot dogs from Chicago if you're not allowed to bring in food from the outside? Everything has to be cooked in the White House. It's illegal to bring in food from the outside. So it raises so many questions, especially because now this language that it's being used, it's been used as codes for pedophiles. So
no, how do you know it's pedophilia? How do you know it's codes for pedophilia? The only evidence they had was a 4chan post. Where's the link that it goes from hot dogs?
Holy crap, this is my first time hearing about this.
I didn't know anything about 4chan at the time, to be honest with you. I recently started going in there.
That's where the conspiracy came from, though. It came from a post on 4chan. They're saying that, guys, hot dogs and hamburgers, it's a code for pedophilia. Where's the link that it was that associates hot dogs with pedophilia? That's all that I asked. The link. Okay. There's no link, though.
That's fine.
No, I'm just saying though, like I'm not saying that there isn't shady stuff happening. I'm sure there is. It's the Democratic Party.
It's not just the Democrats, to be honest with you. It's including the Republicans as well. They're being
sure, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, you don't think
let me reel it back in. All right, so it is all of them, and that's something that I do agree with InfoWars, and they are showing, you know, just like your mom is saying, it's like you can't like classify everyone who, you know, because they're InfoWar watchers, they go and then they harass the Sandy Hook parent. Yeah, he should be. Alex Jones, I do agree that he should have the right to say that, and he can have the consequences of that because he did have people sue him, and when they were
said, social consequences.
Social consequence, exactly. And when they sued him, he did say, "Oh, this is all for a character." However, when it comes to you're playing a character, but you have to have respect for parents' lives, like that. To me, and he did kind of retract that, and he said on the anniversary of Sandy Hook, I think he I don't know if he apologized, but like he said, like, you know, I want to make a remembrance to the Sandy Hook parents, and I do appreciate that. That's what I want to show in the stream, is that I'm not completely against Alex Jones, and what they're doing to him, honestly, they're just going to make him stronger, because it does play into the things they're trying to hiding. Something that Alex Jones, you know, here's the thing, like the thing with Alex Jones is that he tries to like say like there's every conspiracy is true, when he does talk about the true ones, people don't pay attention. So he was one of the first people to talk about agent provocateurs, or I don't know if that's the exact name. Joe Rogan talks about this, and I think when he was on the Joe Rogan show, they talked about it. But it was about how in the 9/11 they had like these 9/11 like walks and like marches and stuff. He showed the document. This is proven. This is not an opinion. This is not a rumor. This is proven. Where it had like government officials paying people to like storm the protest and be violent and like break shit and stuff. And when they do that purposely, so the march can be shut down, and so the police have an excuse to come in and shut everything down. He did show that was proof. You can find it out there, and a lot of people don't really pay attention to that stuff because, like I said, he says everything's a conspiracy, so who knows? You know, people don't pay attention. But it is important, the message that he does put out there, where it's like, be skeptical. Don't trust the government. That's the boat I'm in. I don't trust shit. I need to have proof for everything, you know, and that is something that people need to be now, is more skeptical about things. Some people do take it to the extreme though, where it's like I said, I mentioned on my show before, where it's like, oh, I can't watch anything from CNN, even if it's like a regular reporting of like a dog riding a tricycle. It's like, oh, there's some propaganda behind that. No.
You call me up.
No, it's like the first thing that just went in my head because I'm kind of like ranting. So, but I don't know if Black Lightning, if you had an opinion too about, you can jump into.
About dogs riding tricycles.
Well, you're shooting new things my way, so I have not heard of anything about.
You're not in the world.
Well, not much about what Alex Jones spews out. I just know of his situation, but you're talking about things I have no idea of. Like, I haven't heard of the, I guess, the government paying people to shut marches down, or the Democratic pedophilic.
Are you familiar with Pizzagate?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that, but I don't know that to the extreme.
I don't know if that's true or not. The thing is, I don't like to get wrapped up, because there is a certain kind of character who wants to. There's people out there where they enjoy conspiracies. They think and because of that, they think everything is true, and they're very easily like, they want to believe into something. I know people. I talk to people like this, where they want to be special and they want to think something like that. And like I said, Alex Jones, he does show a lot of truth out there. But some things, like he talks about like interdimensional beings, where it's like, all right, come on. Can you at least continue on that point, yo mama?
Well, I do. That term sounds, like I said, over the top, but that's so Alex Jones. But I do believe in spirits. I do believe in the fight of good versus evil, and I do believe that some portals are open at the moment. And I do believe in witchcraft. I am gonna tell you a secret. I used to.
Of course, you're Mexican.
Play. Yeah, with the egg and these rituals, right? I kind of used to do that kind of stuff back when I was younger and rebellious, and I realized I was wrong, because now I have something on me following me. Not sure if you believe this. I want to say that it was just my mind, but at the same time, there's something out there, and it's something that we have to fight with the truth and with love, and I hope that we can beat it. I don't know what we're fighting against, but all I know is that to remain honest and to remain, you know, just I don't know what to tell you.
We're gonna close the portals. We're gonna fight the spirits by being good, by being good and by being good human beings, and that's what we need to encourage as well, guys. Too, is like, I do believe too. It is pretty simple out there. There's just good versus evil out there, and you know, be skeptical of the government. Like you guys, Alex Jones, he does break a lot of things too about pedophilia. That's something that really, as they say, grinds my gears. Where it's like, as it should with everybody, it is a rampant issue. And I don't know, has anyone paid attention to what happened with James Gunn, or is anyone familiar with it?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so you guys are familiar with that, right?
Yeah, that's so crazy that he's being backed up, and now recently we just saw that this new pictures emerged of him attending this pedophile themed party, and it's very crazy because what sane person will think that that's actually, I don't know. I mean, would you attend a party that's themed pedophilia, like predators and blah blah? It's just insane.
Wait, that's real? Like that's
yes.
Yeah, the pictures came out. The pictures came out. So here's the thing, just to have a quick little summary of the James Gunn situation for the viewers, people watching this later, people watching this now, obviously. The whole thing with James Gunn is that, you know, he got fired because of these tweets, and people were trying to say like, oh, this is the same thing, what we're talking about, censorship, and this is like, oh, because he made these offensive jokes, he's being silenced, and all of Hollywood wanted to back him up. And I do agree with that you shouldn't be fired over, like, you know, things you do in the past. However, there is a common theme of his tweets where, like, it's like, okay, like if you make, like, you know, someone like, you know, Dave Chappelle, a comedian, you have so many comedians on Twitter, they're making so many kind of jokes all the time. And then maybe someone will latch on to one tweet where it's like, oh, he made a joke about women, so now there's a big controversy, right? However, with him, he literally, like, every single joke he would make was about pedophiles. So it's like, if you have someone in real life that you're talking to and they're making like tons of pedophile jokes, you know, you're not there like, oh man, you're so funny, that's so creative. I'm just thinking they're like, dude, are you like, what's up with the pedophile jokes?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like, personally, I think people should joke about whatever they want. But if your whole stick is pedophile jokes, what side are you on, man? Like,
but that's the thing. He's not even a comedian.
yeah,
I mean, I don't understand why they keep calling them "quote unquote" jokes, because he's not a comedian and he's working with children. I mean, I don't have kids. I have nephews and nieces, and I will never ever want somebody around somebody like that. So it's just my opinion.
I mean, I'm of the opinion where, like, even if he made these jokes and he said, okay, he hasn't made any of these kind of jokes recently, then I'm okay. I'm willing to forgive him. But if he's actually joining like pedophilic themed parties, and yeah, that's a bit too much.
They have tons of this, and you know, and Bryan Singer, I don't know if you guys know, I actually like Bryan Singer a lot. His movies, you know, he made the X-Men movies, at least the most popular X-Men movies, and he was also a couple years ago found that he had like some allegations of sexual abuse. And my thing is like, you know, and whoever disagrees, say if you disagree, but you know, they have these pictures of these like adult men, and they want to have these younger boys. You know, it's not, and it is like, it's like a grounds for pedophilia. And then reports come out that, you know, little kids are being, you know, little boys are being sexually abused. It's like, yeah, no wonder. What kind of party it is? They show the pictures. It's like these pictures of tons of like, you know, prepubescent boys with like, yeah, you know, they had the same thing with the Kevin Spacey situation. You know, I don't know if Alex Jones talked about this or not. A lot of people talk about this, how Hollywood is, yeah, it is full of pedophiles. You know, something I went deep. I don't know what that guy's name is. I forget it every time, but every time someone mentions him, there's that really obese guy who worked at Nickelodeon, and you go to find out a lot of these TV shows that people grew up watching, like, you know, Drake and Josh and iCarly, like these old.
Oh, Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider, there you go. Yeah, that piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, he's a big creep. There's numerous amount of evidence that he's a bit of a creep.
Oh yeah,
well, I think a bit of a creep is an understatement there.
So what's really creepy is like me and my friend will literally just go down the rabbit hole on YouTube, and you can go like, oh, search like iCarly behind the scenes when he's around, and you can see like how he's always hugging. He's always hugging like the, you know, the little actresses, you know, Miranda Cosgrove, I forgot the other girl's name. They're like, he's just being very close. And then you look at all these kids that come from Hollywood, and they end up having like a fucked up life, you know, like, you know, Amanda Bynes is losing her mind, and, you know, all these other kid actors, they're like going crazy. It's like, yeah, they've been exposed to like craziness, you know.
Yeah, and it's so messed up that he usually make, if you watch these shows that he made, he usually make the female actresses like show their feet. He had a big feet fetish.
What the hell, really?
Yes,
my
I remember watching these shows when I was younger, and I didn't realize it back then. But yeah, now it makes sense. There were so many feet shots in that show.
Seriously?
What?
Yeah.
No, I have to look this up.
Watch
Blacklight.
iCarly and Victorious. I think Victorious or something. Yeah, just watch them. You see a number. You see a number of photos of feet shots. He has a thing for feet.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
That's
Well,
okay.
following what you said, Dreamer, is that you're right. I did notice. I used to watch mainly Disney Channel, and I did realize that a lot of the women who grew up in that channel are now whores. So usually when women or children are raped, that's what they go with. They become promiscuous, and some even shut down completely. They don't have a normal life anymore. They just hop around because the pedophiles have ruined what love is for them, what real intercourse is. And now with this, they're infecting society because a lot of people look up to the stars and they see them as role models, which I don't even know why they do that, honestly. They come from probably broken homes, but they look up to these people and they're not realizing that now they're coming out with the Me Too movement and saying, oh yeah, I was touched too. And now you're like, holy shit, no wonder you're so fucked up. So it's just insane, man. But it's a perfect time to live and witness all this.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned that in my Me Too video too, where it's like you have so you have the place where you have, you know, Hollywood, where you have all these liberal celebrities coming out and they want to show how much it's usually for the past 2 years something against Trump or something against, you know, domestic violence. There's a different flavor of the week. And then what comes from that place? That came with, you know, Harvey Weinstein. That came from these, you know, pieces of shit. And then you guys are turning around like, oh, you're supposed to protect us. It's like, dude, you created this. You created this monster, you know?
And you know what I noticed is that whenever they used to call Harvey Weinstein God, they used to call him God. So now I look back and, yeah, everybody in Hollywood called Harvey Weinstein God. So now when you have all these celebrities receiving their trophies, now they're all like, and I want to thank my mother, my father, blah, 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 and I want to thank God. And I'm just like, holy shit, that's the God you were talking about? I thought you were talking the one that was above there in the clouds somewhere. And now I'm like, holy shit. And all these people are related with either they were conspiring with him, which is something that we cannot prove right now, right. Or they were either raped by him as well.
You guys know who Gwyneth Paltrow is, right?
No.
Gwyneth Paltrow, she's Pepper Potts from Iron Man, ginger hair.
I never watched Iron Man.
You never watched Iron Man?
Sorry, guys.
Are you a terrorist? You never watch Iron Man?
I don't watch TV. It's just
it's that movie, girl.
Right, movies, TVs. I don't watch television that much. I started going on the web, and that's pretty much all I see. But I'm sorry.
You can watch it online. Honestly, it's been a long time.
All right, so Gwyneth Paltrow, she's an actress, and it's kind of weird. I guess I think that'll be a funny actually video to react to. But there's let me pull it up here. Supposedly, there's a rumor that she was the one that or one of the people at least that had to like sleep with Harvey Weinstein for a role. And there's like let me pull up the clip here.
Is that the one with the
you guys can talk
audio recording, the one with the I forgot it, or maybe that's the model, I don't know. No, I just know the Harvey Weinstein, there's that funny recording where he's like desperately trying to like ask this woman to like, you know. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And then she's really like, "No, you're making me uncomfortable." And he's like, "No, just do it for me."
It's like, please, come on, don't do that to me. Come on,
don't embarrass me.
So
come on, don't embarrass me. Come on.
Right, guys. Yeah. So here's the video. We're gonna watch it here. So it's kind of weird. Like I said, this is a pretty creepy. This is what I like to do. I like to watch videos like after the fact. And it's kind of like having a different perspective on something that's well known now. Remember, this is 1999, so obviously they didn't know about anything. So I think this Watch this real quick, guys.
As you've all exhausted every expression you have. So it's a great honor and a pleasure for me to present to you the 5 elegant and talented women who are nominated for the best achievement by an actress this evening. They are Paltrow. And the Oscar goes to Gwyneth Paltrow. Shakespeare in Love.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
This was such a long time ago.
I would like to thank the Academy from the bottom of my heart. I would like to thank Emily Watson and Fernanda Montenegro and my friend Kate Blanchett and the greatest one who ever was, Meryl Streep. I don't feel very deserved.
Meryl Streep, yeah, she's another one too, where it's like she defended Harvey Weinstein, and she's always the one. That's what I was trying to make a point, where it's like you have all these celebrities and these, you know, they love to like grandstand at these award shows because they're all prim and proper, and you know people who live in like Beverly Hills and shit, they have no connection with middle America, and then they're out there on TV like trying to be like, you know, moral bastions, like we should be the ones you guys follow.
Yeah, these are the ones that say that Trump is a rapist, but they're okay with Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski is okay.
Your presence, but I would like to thank Harvey Weinstein and everybody at Miramax Films for their undying support of me. I would like to. I wouldn't be in this auditorium, let alone up here, if it wasn't for 2 incredibly talented men. Our director, John Madden. Thank you so much for all that you gave me. You were so inspiring, and to my soulful partner, Joseph Fiennes.
So I think that was just it. That was the part where she mentioned Harvey Weinstein, but yeah, that is kind of like a Hollywood rumor where she is one of the people that had to sleep with Harvey Weinstein for a role. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she's freaking selfish. All these people do it because they're selfish, not because they're some victim.
Well, I mean, do you like, so that's kind of like an argument where it's like, you know, are they victims? It's like if there, I'm sure there's some women out there where it's like, oh, so all I have to do is sleep with you or give you something or, you know, give you a sexual favor and I'm going to be put in a movie. You know, there's some women who would agree that they're fine with that. I mean, is that something that should be allowed? Or and this is something that I talked about in the previous podcast where, or the previous live stream where, you know, we were talking with this self-proclaimed incel. And I, you know, we talked about how, in my belief, a lot of our culture, a lot of what's going out there, in my opinion, like I said, I am a pretty conservative guy and I have conservative views. And I do feel like a lot of things that are happening out there that is, you know, this open sexuality and like, you know, it's changing the sexual dynamics of young men and young women. And then we're getting the results of this, you know, where it's like, yeah, some women, they think it's okay. Like, yeah, I'm just going to sleep with a man if they're going to give me a movie role, right? And now because of that, you know, there's people who, you know, through Instagram, there's like, they're kind of like prostitutes where, you know, ballers will like, you know, NBA players, all these people will like just DM like women on Instagram models. And, you know, they just have a sexual relationship and it's a very casual thing. So it is contributing to a lot of dynamics of our everyday dynamics of people's dynamics. And anyone who has an opinion on that can jump in. So I'm.
And I guess I kind of have like mixed views about that. I mean, I am a huge proponent. Here's my feminist side of the sexual revolution and that sort of stuff. But I definitely think that there is an issue with like, definitely a lot of women out there using their femininity to their advantage and using that instead of merit or talent to get. But that's always been a problem, though. I think that even before the rise of feminism, there were definitely women out there who definitely took advantage of men.
But feminism brought it out to the forefront.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Feminism made it cool. Like they're teaching girls now, you know, we talked about Amber Rose in the last show. Amber Rose is teaching girls like it's okay to be a hoe and we shouldn't care about each other's sexual history. And then you see like articles of like Teen Vogue on Snapchat. Like I literally screenshot it and I show my mom. I'm like, you see you see the shit that they're showing on Teen Vogue. Little girls are seeing this, where it's like, we need to get rid of stigmas of you know, what's it called, like AIDS and stuff. And it's like, you know, we shouldn't ask. That's why in California they have the law where it's like, oh yeah, you if someone knowingly infects someone with AIDS, like you can, like they can't be held like liable or something. It's like,
oh, that's a terrible law.
Yeah. But if you use straws, yeah, you should be incarcerated. So
right.
stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, I wanted to be a singer when I was younger. I wanted to be singer and actress, and maybe do some modeling. But I knew I couldn't do the modeling just because I'm very short. So I was a petite model, but it was only done through photography. And I remember my agent. I had to switch agents 3 times, and I had my most recent agent, and then he started touching me inappropriately and saying that it was to arouse me and so I can be photographed better because I needed to be sexy and I needed to be turned on for the pictures. Oh and I felt I just couldn't do it, and I told him, no, stop touching me because I want to be able to show this on my own. He's like, no, but you photograph so much better when I'm touching you. Oh my God. And I was like, but if there's gonna be different photographers, how am I gonna nail it? If are they also gonna be touching me? Are they gonna tell me the same thing that I can?
I mean, I can't even imagine. You know, when you're a kid, like you don't know what to think. Like when you're a kid, like so many. You know, I've had friends that they've had similar experiences. They've been molested, where you know, they will tell them like, oh, don't tell your parents because I'm going to do something. And then as a kid, you believe it. Like you, as a kid, like people don't understand. That's why it really pisses me off with this whole pedophilia thing, especially now where they have like, oh, pedophiles, they're part of the, you know, the LGBTQ banner and we should accept them. And they don't act on those desires. It's like, no, like whatever. If you want to label me a bigot that I'm discriminating against a pedophile, so be it. I don't give a shit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
that they shouldn't allow that at all, because I mean, you could say whatever about a homosexuality and transgender people, but that's between 2 consenting adults. For the most part, that's how it should be. But with children, there are scientific studies proving that children do get hurt psychologically and physically. Mm-hmm. There's no way around that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a scientific study. Like I said, I have friends who have been molested, and you see their behavior. Something that you see in kids who have been molested, they become hypersexual. They can't have a normal sexual relationship as they get older. Like, you know, sex it's something like it should be treated something like, you know, desirable and fun and responsible between 2 adults, and it's something that, you know, adults should enjoy. And when you have kids who are molested, like it totally fucks with their brain. You know, their brains are such a, you know, small, small, it's so malleable. Like anything you do to a child's brain, that's why, like, if you have something that happens when you're a kid, you remember it. Like if you have something traumatic when you have happen to you, because you're a kid, your brain is so blank and canvassed, ready to be exposed, you remember everything. So I don't mean to cut you off, Yo Mama, but what else happened from that? I mean, that's horrible.
Yeah, I had to drop him because I told him so many times that I didn't want to do it. And no, I was actually 18 at the time, so it was it was just that he kept telling me that he loved me, that I look so young and beautiful, and that we will make a perfect couple. And that's why he was touching me, not because he was gonna disrespect me, but because he loved me. And I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to do this. If I ever get to the top, it's because of my talent, not because I'm fucking around with everybody. And and from then on, like, you know, I texted him and I told him, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And he went off and he said that if I ever stepped foot in his office, that he was gonna break my legs, and just like he just went rampage. So then he called me a year ago and he told me, oh, hey babe, are you ready to get this rolling again? Like nothing happened. I'm like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right.
You just threatened to break my legs, and now you're just like out of nowhere. He's like, oh, I was drunk. And I'm like, you didn't seem drunk, and you should have apologized the next day. And then I was like, you know what? Leave me alone, or I'm going to call the cops. He's like, you're not going to do that. And I was like, why not? Yes, I can. I will do it. And I know where your office is. And he's like, well, I know the mayor of Chicago, and I know the cops, and they're not going to believe you, and they're going to be on my side. And I'm just like, what the hell? So I just hang up. I blocked him, and I just don't want anything to do with him. And that's why I no longer sing. I no longer act. I did sing in one of my videos, Classy, but I just thought it was kind of fun. I just wanted to do it, but you know, other than that, I don't want to do it professionally anymore.
Wow.
So, that's my story.
Yeah, I didn't know you were gonna drop that bombshell, but that is something too. You know, with all these topics and what, you know, with the videos that I make, you know, I do speak against feminism, but that doesn't mean that like people have like a wrong interpretation. You know, I have a younger sister. You know, I have a younger sister who I love to death. You know, and that's why I do have these views, and I have these views in teaching women about, I want to, you know, talk about with women how they should have self-respect. Yeah, if you're going to be a whore and you're going to be a slut and you want to be like, oh yeah, society should just accept me, I sleep with every man. It's like, no, society won't. You're not going to change society. You're not going to change society. So you do what you want, but you will have the consequences. I'm all about freedom. We live in America. Yes, we should be free. My thing when it comes to a lot of these things as well, it's like, keep this away from kids. You know, and I don't know too, if you know, Black Lightning, you are, you know, would you say you're a cross-dresser or a drag queen?
Cross-dresser.
Cross-dresser, okay. So, you know, something that I reacted into one of my streams before too was, you know, having these drag queens come to a library and like reading books to kids. You know, I have nothing against cross-dressers or drag queens, of course, but my thing is, why do we have to introduce this to kids? Do you see a problem with that, or am I wrong, or like what?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's just, the only problem is if you're forcing the child to cross-dress.
You're forcing by walking in the classroom and talking about cross-dressing, right?
Well, in California, they are forcing them because I believe that what they're trying to do now is that if a teacher says that a child is transgender, that the parents must proceed with a transition. But why? I mean, I don't have a problem if you want to change your gender and do whatever the hell you want to your body, change your nose, change whatever you want. But a child cannot decide. That's why the parents decide until they're the age of 18. So for this teacher to intervene and say, your child is transgender, you must do the transaction now, and the parent refuses, they're now being forced to be presented against the court. And I don't think they should be forced. It should be a decision when the child grows up. They should be able to decide whether they want to change or not. And the teacher shouldn't be implementing this type of indoctrination. They should only focus on science, math, and the things that matter. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, my big problem there is that a teacher is not qualified to make that decision. Like a therapist or a gender therapist, yeah, sure, but yeah, a teacher, no, that's a bit too far.
Yeah, right. I think so too.
But and that's my thing. Like I said, I have nothing against, even though I am a conservative person, I'm all about freedom. If you're over 18, do what you want. And that's my only gripe is I've made videos about this, people criticize me, and it's like, if you want to criticize me, okay, but when you have these pride parades, you have these adult I mean, if you go to a drag queen show, you know, you have a bunch of drag queens, you know, they're enjoying themselves. That is an adult environment. In the same way, I wouldn't want a kid in like a strip club with, you know, female strippers. Like I would never, you know, I'm not going to bring my son who's like 10 years old to a strip club to see naked women because, you know, he's too young for that, right? You're introducing sex before he hits puberty. That has changes on that. Yeah. So people like to say like, oh, you're bigot, you're homophobic, you're this, you're that. No, I'm not. why am I the bad guy if I just don't want this stuff around kids? Why am I the bad guy for that?
Yeah, I have a bit of a nuanced position there. Like, when it comes to the pride parades, it depends on which ones. Like, if you are the ones that have sexuality on display, then yeah, keep the kids away from that. But there are pride parades out there that are more reserved and don't have sex wearing on its sleeves, and those are fine. Sure, if you want to teach a kid that it's okay, whatever, like don't pick on someone if they have a different sexuality than you, then yeah, that's a good idea. I don't see a problem with that. But yeah, keep the sexuality out of it, please.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, and if anyone has a point too, by the way, don't feel like you're like gonna interrupt me. I just rant and ramble just to keep the flow of the stream going. I guess that's, we're gonna get into some current events here. Yo Mama, are you good to stick around, or all you guys good to stick around, or?
Yeah, stick around. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So because we are talking about Alex Jones and we're talking about conspiracies, I'm a huge, like I said, I like getting into conspiracies just because it's fun. I don't believe in most of them, and there are some real conspiracies that did happen, but I do, and that's something that InfoWars talks about, where, some people, they're just so blind to, like, they'll believe anything, right? And that's the concept that I do like that he has introduced. So I had a veganism debate back in the day with Red Pill Philosophy, and we talked about flat Earth. Flat Earth is a growing conspiracy, is something that is like captivate. That's what I like to look at, where it's like, what conspiracy is catching the eye of all these people? And one of them in the modern day is flat Earth. And, I did get into it just so I know about it, so I can talk about it and like debate people. But he uploaded a video here that I guess get your guys' just raw reaction. So let me just screen share real quick, and we will watch it. Yeah, there's this big ass grin.
The sun and the moon give away the flat Earth. Look, I don't believe anything mainstream science tells me about the sun and the freaking moon. Check out that crescent moon up there. Against the blue.
Oh no. Oh.
Want to say something? Or keep playing?
Oh no.
We're
you
just
keep
laughing.
playing.
No worries.
God. I don't know if it's coming up in the camera, but look, the sun and the moon. No wonder they had to come up with this hoax heliocentric model, man. No wonder.
Look at the road.
I don't get it. Why is he saying that it gives it up?
He's gonna get into it.
It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What were we gonna say, Black Lightning?
Yeah, he can go ahead. I just want to know why does that proof of flat Earth, but I guess he will go over it.
Yeah, he just, yeah.
And the moon appearing to be the exact same size? There's no way any rational thinking person could look up at the heavens.
Oh no.
What is it?
No, this is a classic argument by flat Earth.
I think he lives near, by the way.
Yeah, he lives in Miami. I don't know exactly where he lives, but yeah, he lives in the same city as I do.
Yeah. And I'm like I said, we had a discussion, and I would love to have a discussion with him again about flat Earth. But let's talk. Let's see the points that he makes here.
Years ago, before we had all this technology, there's no way someone from 1,000 years ago could look up at the moon and then look up at the sun and realize that they're both. Apparently, they both appear to be the same size. There's no way you could look up at the sun and the moon and not think that this world we live in is more than just a cosmic coincidence blowing up from nothing, which is the big heliocentric fairy tale. It's too much of a coincidence. It's too much of a coincidence.
One of my arguments that I had with him that it's kind of disingenuous to just like try to like have some deep like thought about this, like looking in the sky, like, you know, something that he's going to talk about the size of the moon and the sun. It's like just looking up in the sky. If we're dealing with, you know, space measurements in space that are like light years, like, you know, big distances, big measurements, it's kind of disingenuous just look in the sky and be like, oh yeah, look, they're the same size. Like, who knows what everything's going to look the same size while you're you know, on the ground, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the sun is much farther and much larger, so I don't know. Go ahead, just play it.
We only see one side of the moon, as if the fact that the sun and the moon appear to be the same exact size. And of course, they tell you that, oh, it's because the sun is 400 times further away, 400 times bigger.
Yeah, let me know if y'all want.
It's the only reason it looks the same. They're always getting you to question what you can see with your own eyes. You have to believe.
Oh no.
The physicalist scientism priests in order to believe that the sun is 400 times further away than the moon. But all you need are your own damn eyes.
So something he said real quick is, and this is what a lot of like conspiracy people talk about, and especially flat earthers, they talk about how it's like, okay, you have to believe in this. Like, you know, if someone proves something, you Google it and you believe it because you Google it and you hold, you know, you believe in something that has authority. Well, the thing is, and this is what I brought up in the little mini talk with him, is like, you have, when it comes to like math, when it comes to things you can measure, you know, that's what's the beautiful thing about math, is that it's literally numbers that, you know, you have formulas that they work the same every single time, and people build structures with that, fly rockets, do so many things. So yeah, you have, it's not that all these, what is the more likely scenario, that all of these scientists and engineers are conspiring about something, or the fact that they're using math and they're using measurements and they're using science to come to a solution? Which one is more probably the answer?
Yeah. The problem with these flat earthers, when you ask them for their measurements or their mathematical proof or scientific proof, whatever, they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. They don't have equations or anything. Nothing that comes close to a freaking hypothesis.
Sure. And anyone else jump in too if you want to say something. Black.
So what? I mean, I don't know. Is he like the flat earther that thinks that we're on top of a turtle? Or, I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. How is it flat and then we see the moon and all these other planets being round? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, basically, flat earthers believe that, you know, there's no such thing as the South. There's no such thing as Antarctica as we know it. It's not like a, you know, if you look at a map, you know, the center of the Earth for them is like a dish. In the middle is the North Pole, and on the outside there's Antarctica, which is like an ice wall all around it. And beyond those ice walls, there's more land. And that's why you have this conspiracy of the flat Earth, because
across those ice walls are the dark continent. You know?
Yeah.
There's a good show that talks about, it's called good book series actually. It's called Hunter x Hunter. It's from Japan.
Really?
They talk about the dark continent.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta watch that. So let's see what else he says here.
See that the sun and the moon appear to be the same size. And I don't give a fuck if you claim to have scientific proof that the sun is 400 times bigger and 400 times further away than the moon. The mere fact of a coincidence that big that they would appear to be the same size, that's enough to really make me wonder if what you're telling me about the world we live in and the space allegedly around us is true.
Yeah, so they believe, like, have you guys ever seen that movie, The Truman Show?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys seen that movie? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so basically, I think that's, I don't know, I guess flat earthers believe that it's like a dome or something, or there's some kind of, they believe in like a firmament, and I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, do they know? I mean, can they explain why we have time zones? Why is there's different hours around the world?
Exactly. That was made up by the world government. That was made up by the United Nations. The whole time zone, it's actually the same time everywhere.
How are we allowed to travel with on airplanes? I mean, is that just like made
those
up
are simulations, though. When you go on an airplane, it's not an actual airplane. Those are simulations. I mean, have you ever been like outside of an airplane as it's flying? No, because they don't want you to fly.
You're right.
Have you ever opened the door while you're in a flight?
And here's another thing that you can use with your eyes to prove that the Earth is round. Let's say if you were to go to, like, I know this is an extreme example, but if you go to the Burj Khalifa, you can see the sunset twice, and you can't see that happen if the Earth was flat.
Right.
If you're on the floor, I mean on the ground level, you see it set. You can go straight up to the highest floor in the tower. You can see it set again, or you could just be on the beach and I guess lay down on your belly and see it set, and then quickly stand back up. You see it set again.
Well, to play devil's advocate, that's when he says, like, so you see something disappear in the horizon, like a ship disappear in the horizon. I mean, this is what he literally told me is refraction, which, if you go and look in binoculars and you go look at that same ship that supposedly with your naked eye disappeared behind behind the horizon, why can you get a binoculars and you can still see it? Shouldn't it like have gone down? And I didn't have an explanation for that, but he does have all explanations for all these points that you guys are bringing up. But that's why, like, hopefully maybe he'll watch this and we can have a conversation about it, because like I said, it does fascinate me because out of all the conspiracies, ultimately, why I stopped believing in certain conspiracies, it's because, the simplest answer is usually the right one. So is it more of a simple, like they believe this grandiose plan that they're hiding something beyond these ice walls, and there's always some group of people hiding something, and it's like it's all way too convenient, and a lot of people don't really think about it, right? But let's see, let's just wrap this up here.
I've never tried. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That I've never tried looking at a ship that's getting farther from me. I never tried looking at a ship with binoculars. So if I did try, maybe I will think that it's disappearing because of the humidity that's always on the water level, and it's starting to block it, I guess. I don't know. You know what? I have no idea, but just let the guy speak.
So, ain't no way I'm believing shit that they're telling me about the sun and the moon. With all these incredible coincidences, you can only see one side of the moon since recorded history to today. The moon is magically in tidal lock, and that's why no matter where you are on our alleged globe, you can only see one side of the moon.
It's because it's tidally locked, dude. Jeez.
Why is it?
It's tidally locked to the Earth. So,
what is that?
Okay.
I mean, due to gravitational forces, we're going to see one side of the moon. One side is always going to be. I have to look it up again to go in depth, but that's the explanation why we only see one side of the moon. It's tidally locked to the Earth.
Yeah, you have to look it up. So the Google tells you.
I mean, I'm not an expert. I trust the people who did the research over. Let's trust our eyes. I mean, have you heard of optical illusions? Like your brain could be tricked.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's why I'm like, dude, we can't just depend on the naked eye. That was my argument. It's like we can't depend on the naked eye because that is a good point. Yeah, optical illusions. We can be deceived so much. Like so many things can deceive us very easily. What are you gonna say, your mama?
Sorry, the mind just flew away.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, what about those microscopes? I'm pretty sure, because I don't believe in cell theory, I'm pretty sure all those microscopes are faked. They all are sort of made to sort of fool us that there are these little things called cells. It's just fake. It's just like the UN. They fake everything. They fake the telescopes, so they make us think that they're round planets, and they fake the microscope too.
Look, I'm just gonna say I don't know shit about the universe. All I know is the only astronomy I know is for the zodiac signs. That's it. So no opinion on this.
Right. So let's wrap this up here.
On spinning balls through space, and we can only see one precise, exact face of the moon. You have to be crazy to believe in these coincidences. You have to be so stupid, you might be an atheist, physicalist, scientism cult member.
What?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh my god, the scientific community.
To be that dumb.
Oh man.
So I just wanted to put that out there. The sun and the moon. There's your sun. There's your moon. There's your sun. There's your moon.
Boom. Case closed.
Damn. So I'm assuming this guy is an astronaut, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is he?
You know, I kind of.
I mean, how did he ever got to see the space from outside? I mean, the Earth from outside, or how can he say with so much certainty? I mean, I'm not saying that the Earth is flat or it's round, or I don't know. I'm just telling you, I've known that it's round. What I've seen with my eyes is that things are round and stuff, and I don't know. I've never been outside of the space.
Yeah, here's how you can prove a lot of these conspiracy theories wrong. If you just ask them one simple question, what will it take to prove you wrong? If they don't have an answer to that, then they have an unfalsifiable position, and you should just leave it alone.
Right.
Yeah, you can never prove that the Earth is round. You know, it's not like you can just go outside of the Earth. You can't just jump off the Earth, you know?
Yeah,
Oh God.
yeah. That'll be the so that'll be the nail in that topic. You know, if Red Pill ever watches this, then you know I'd love to have another discussion with him because it does fascinate me why so much. This is, like I said, it's a growing movement, and you know it's crazy. So, but moving on to our next thing here, we have earlier in the week there was this trending hashtag on Twitter. You know, like on Twitter, they have like a hashtag, like they make up so much shit now just to have like have stuff. Yeah, like so many things where it's like, what is going on, right? I forgot what the hashtag, but it was something about black women unequal pay or something. And actually, Fortune magazine released this video. So it's talking about the wage gap. And you can see the lovely dislike here. A whole bunch of people dislike it.
Oh my gosh. I can already point out what they're going to do. They're going, oh my gosh. Yeah, you can play the clip. It seems like it's 1 minute, but I can easily tell what they're going to do.
So we're going to watch this. And yeah, at any time, just give your reaction. I'll pause the video.
Just keep in mind, correlation does not imply causation.
Oh, I thought it was 78 cents.
Oh no.
Yeah, man, that's why McDonald's. This is why McDonald's is like all female employees. If you go to McDonald's, all employees are totally no male employees, you know, because the companies can just get away with this.
Right. Yeah, classy. Yeah, Classy's obviously joking, but that's the point. Every time this wage gap thing is brought up, where it's like they look at these statistics, they show the statistics, and then they frame the argument where it's like, yeah, you have a black woman working the same job to a white man on the, you know, they're working the same exact job, and the black woman is getting paid less. No, it's like that's not how these statistics work, right? If that was true, shouldn't I just hire black women because I can obviously pay them lower, right?
Yeah, no. In fact, McDonald's where I go to, it's all black women.
No, I guess it's on the Toastmasters.
See, they already beat you there.
That's pretty
oh my gosh, these people never. This is why I hate it when these non-experts read statistics like this. They always interpret them in this way where it's just so overly simplified. There's so many factors involved here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they don't understand. And then they have guess who's at the very top of everything always? Asians.
White male. Oh, the Asians.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I like how you said the Asians.
What? The Asians?
Yeah, I just think that's funny how you say the Asians. But yeah, Asians, they're always at the top of these statistics. And it's like, have you guys ever wondered why? Is it because Asians have a special thing that they're doing, or that they have a privilege? No.
Yeah.
They have Asian privilege.
Yeah. You know what you know what their privilege is? They're coming from a strict ass household, usually with parents that are very strict when it comes to work ethic, discipline, school. I mean, I had an Asian friend, like if he had a B, he was grounded. Like that shit was mind blowing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, he needed straight A's. He needed straight A's. And Black Lightning, you were gonna say something? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, that was pretty much it. Like the culture surrounding them, it forces them to do their best.
Right, and that's what it's about. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, and I was also gonna say, like, when
ahead.
Asians came here, like they came there of their own choosing, so they were ready to excel in this country.
Sure. Go
So
ahead.
yeah, that really helped them.
But this whole statistic, well, I don't know about the whole black women thing, but the statistic with supposedly women earning less, it's based on women and men who work full-time jobs. So they're excluding the people that are part-time jobbers, which most of the women are part-time, especially when they have children, they want to do part-time because we have other priorities such as taking care of our child. And that's one of our curses, which we have to take care of our child and we want to be with our child. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but this is why we pick part-times, and that's why we're excluded from the statistics. And it looks like we earn less. And besides, we are also work less than men. I mean, I hate to put this out there, but I was kind of late. But at the same time to work, but at the same time, you know, I will try to stay overtime because I had no other responsibilities, when my other coworkers will just try to cut everything and go home already because they had children. So so we do have different priorities, and not just that.
And that's what makes up and it's exactly what you're talking about. That explains the statistics. You know, a mom, you know, and that's the differences between men and women. That's the differences between mothers and fathers. You know, a woman is more likely to not stay at work because she wants to be with her kid, when the dad usually is going to stay at work because you know, we're different creatures, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you know, you say it's a gift to me, or you say it's a curse to me. It's, yeah, sure, you can describe it as a curse, but it's a gift. You know, women have a gift of being moms. You know, like I said, people want to label me as, you know, like someone blocked me on Twitter the other day and sent me a message, and then I couldn't reply to it because they blocked me. They were like, you know, you're so vile and misogynistic and you hate women and stuff. And I went to reply and I couldn't reply because they blocked me. But it's like, no, like I have, you know, I have two very strong women in my life that, you know, if it wasn't for them, I don't know who I would be, you know, my mom and my sister, you know, and that's why I have these views, because I want to create a better world for women out there. And, you know, there's that famous quote in, you know, the 300 movie when, you know, the guy is trying to, you know, the Spartan queen is talking in the thing. And then the Persian guy is like, what gives this woman authority to speak amongst us, or whatever. And then she said, you know, her name's Queen Gorgo. She says, because of real, or what'd she say? She said, because Spartan women give birth to real men. Where it's like, yeah, the reason those men, or the reason the Spartans, they're fierce warriors, is because they have great moms and strong moms. I would describe my mom that way, you know, and that's because of her, I am the way I am now. So, you know, and like I said, that's a gift. Raising kids, that is the woman's job. That is the biology of a woman, to want to stay home, to raise the kids. There's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. There should be the place of the dad in there as well. But that's why these statistics are here. It's not because there's not some sort of patriarchal dark cloud that's forcing women, that's making women earn less. So they make this video, they have this hashtag, and then they make this video where it's like, oh yeah, here's the statistics. Black women are getting paid less. We got to change something. They want to show that they're like virtuous and we got to go after some social justice. It's like, no, that's just the statistic. You guys are getting mad at statistics, The statistic doesn't mean that white men, you know, they talk about white people and then Asians are at the top. The Asians don't have Asian privilege. Yeah, their privilege, I guess, is coming from being in a stable household, from being in a house that parents fucking they want to see them succeed. Like I said, my freaking friend growing up, like he would be grounded if he got a B. Like that shit blew my mind. Like I said, you know, because he's coming from, and now I go look at my friend. My friend is a freaking doctor. There you go. That's the result of that. That's what the parents wanted, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all. I mean, let's watch the rest of the series.
Well, pause it. There's a fun fact. I think the very first self-made millionaire in the country was an African woman, actually. She created, like, basically a product that's supposed to, I don't think it was, I think it was a scam, but whatever. That's supposed to, like, help a bald man, like, regrow hair or something. And apparently she made, like, millions from that. And this was back in, like, the 19th century. Yeah, would I like to see more African women as CEOs? Sure, though, but I'm pretty sure that there are other explanations as to why we don't see that number yet. But you know, most white men aren't going to become CEOs. You have to understand that it's only certain people with certain attributes can become can never come to that level.
But we live in the country where anyone can do anything they want. That's
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to set your mind out to do something, you know, there's the education opportunities are out there. The entrepreneurial opportunities are out there, especially in America. That's what blows my mind. It's like there's no African American women running Fortune 500 companies. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, if there's an African American woman out there who wants to do that, let's tell them that there's a path to do that. Or, you know, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know, like it's like they released this video and it's like, what do you guys want?
You know what I noticed also? First of all, I just want to refer to the Hispanics because I know a little bit more about that. They're probably also earning quote unquote less than all other races because we work under the table the most. So we're not reporting that we're actually working or paying taxes because we're getting paid cash. And not just that, also I've noticed that a lot of girls, especially around here and in my community, they are going into makeup. And I'm just like, why are you going into makeup? Oh, well, it's so popular, the makeup. And I'm just like, yeah, and we get it from YouTube, and I'm sure you got your strategies from YouTube too. So it's a job that is gonna die out, and it doesn't really put much money in your pocket. That's why they're also earning less.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like you choose your path, right? Mm-hmm. So if there's you know, there was like a, you know, there was like something that was trending on Twitter, I think the past week as well, where it's like it was a girl, she was holding up this like notebook or this like index card, and it was saying how like, oh, she has a degree and she's into debt, can't get a job. It's like, okay, what kind of degree do you have? That's important. You know, there's this notion now too where it's like you're not entitled to a job because you have a degree. You know, they sell you a very expensive piece of paper. You know, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, that's why I dropped out, and I have tons of success because I wanted to put my focus on other things. And we live in a country that rewards that. You know, we live in a country now where the universities, they're set up to suck money out of the students. Like, in my opinion, if you're not trying to be an engineer or a STEM field or IT or some kind of computing, your degree is a waste. You know, so
yeah. I was talking to my sister about that. I'm like, you know what? I was just thinking that all these people talking shit about the Trump University, and they're not even realizing that when they go to their gender studies class and they get a degree in gender studies and all this bullshit that doesn't exist, that is scam right there. Like, where are you going to get a job with that type of degree?
Wait, so you're saying my master's degree in African women dance theory isn't going to make me make six figures? Yeah.
No, but it's gonna probably show you how to twerk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
I had to throw that out there. Sorry.
All right, let's finish watching this real quick. So shout out to her. I like that. Hold on. Look at this picture. Like I love this. I love stock photos. We're gonna talk about men. Look at this. Look at this douchebag. I mean, if you like,
what about it?
I love the picture they put. Like, if you guys saw this guy in the street, would you trust him?
No. Look how privileged he looks.
Yeah, he's like saying it's not my fault women are making mess. It's not my fault women are inferior, you know?
He's like, right. Good.
All right, so let's see how men aren't helping. 43% of men believe that obstacles to advancement for Black women no longer exist.
Oh my god,
Okay.
43% of men are not racist. Okay.
Well, it's like, okay, so what does anyone, this is the thing that blows my mind. What does anyone's belief about anybody affect the way, like, opportunity? Like, they have these things, you know, they show like when they have these studies of like showing resumes. There's ways on resumes now where, you know, you have the opportunity to go and interview. If you go to an interview and you're rewarded that opportunity, like no one's looking at something. It's like, oh wow, you know, look at your experience. You have this. You know, you're gonna save us so much money because, you know, you're so young, but you're hungry, you're educated. And then they look, oh, your name is, you know, Francesca or something. Oh my God, like no, you know, you're Black. We can't have you. You know, as someone who has a business, has hired people, interviewed people, dealing with employees, people don't have, people want to criticize something they don't understand the process, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there we go. That was that.
So how do you close the wage gap then? That's my question.
How do you close the wage gap?
I'm just asking, like, any sort of feminist watching the stream, how do you what's your proposed solution? I mean, I think it's a non-issue, but let's say it is an issue.
Well, they got to prove the wage gap because it's like,
Yeah.
you guys have, like I said, if the wage gap was true, boom, let me just hire women. I can pay them less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it will better serve them if they say that it's an earnings gap. And there you go. That's true.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I mean, I earn, I earn more than the person who works at McDonald's. So there you go, right? So
Yeah, and then work on ways to close that earnings gap. If
yeah,
yeah.
you work, the way you work on that way is that person gets educated and, you know, gets promoted, and, you know, that's how you close it, right? Hard work.
Right.
Go ahead. Oh, I thought someone was gonna say something.
No.
Okay, sounded like that. All right, guys, so we're moving along these pretty quickly. This is an interesting current event that I want to talk about. I want to start covering more hip-hop related topics because, you know, that is kind of my background, and like I said, one of my whole inspirations for starting this channel. But there's a pretty interesting topic here that we're going to look at. So it says here, Fat Joe strongly disagrees with Eric Bennett's take on hip-hop and white supremacy. Ooh. So let me look at this. So Eric Bennett, who I don't know who that is, he shared this photo on Instagram. Basically, let me see if I can find the post here. Eric Bennett. Basically, the post was saying that, you know, you are contributing to white supremacy if you have subject matter consisting of killing Black people, degrading Black women, and abusing drugs and materialization. He suggested that these people are the black face for white supremacy. So basically, yeah, so these are some comments basically criticizing the lyrics of hip hop, how it is kind of like a violent, you know, a lot of lyrics are violent, a lot of things, it's kind of like a, you know, people don't understand that hip hop is an exaggeration, right? And that's what, in fact, this is what Fat Joe said real quick. He said, we have different rappers for different messages. It's all entertainment. If you're going to go and live your life behind a rap song, then you're the fool. It's just entertainment, you know. We make gangster rap. People work out to it. People in the Army, Navy, they be fighting wars. They be getting hyped off our shit. I don't know what he's talking about. It's a shame. So that's something that I guess I want to open up to the rest of you guys as well. Is like, you know, I was talking about this with Classy before the stream, how that's why people criticize violent video games, people criticize violent movies, where it's like, oh, it's teaching kids to do this. But so much media out there, so much entertainment out there is an exaggeration, and you do it, and it's all for entertainment, right? Just because, you know, my whole apartment, I got Breaking Bad stuff, I got Scarface stuff. I idolize those characters and those people from those shows and from those movies. But just because I idolize them doesn't mean I'm going to live their life. It's kind of like a fantasy to me. The same reason I go and listen to hip hop music, and it is kind of like gangster rap, and it's like a, you know, it's this tough persona, but that's what it is. It's all a persona. It's all kind of like a, you know, that's, you go look at the playlist of anyone who's in, like I said, like Fat Joe mentioned, like any person who's in the military, who's in the Army, you know, they're listening to this music, you know, the guy who like killed Osama bin Laden, he released his like music playlist. It was all full of hip hop, and he's like, yeah, he like, you know, all the rappers were like congratulating him and stuff. He's like, yeah, they're out there fighting for us. They're listening to music to get hyped, the same way I listen to music when I go work out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And guys, I'm just rambling, so anyone just jump in. By the way, I don't.
Yeah, me too. I've listened to hip hop. I listen to narco corrido sometimes. Not my favorite music of choice, but like I said, in the narco corridos in Spanish, they're always talking about chopping heads and going and killing the enemy and all this bullshit. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna go and do it. It's just like, I like the beat. Unfortunately, the lyric is disgusting, but I mean, it gets me pumped.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Classy, what are your thoughts?
Not really into the hippity hoppity music. Unless you count like that really old school stuff from like the 1980s. What's the ones like how does it go? It's like, I'm gonna get a hip hop, the hippity hoppity.
That's your jam right there.
Yeah.
But what's your opinion on this? You have an opinion on this, right? It's like from you guys right now.
I'm a bit mixed here, because there are certain people who listen to this music because they want to live it in an authentic way. So it's just those who do take it that far. I'm not saying everyone do that, but there are people who do that. Right. And yeah, those are the ones who I'm concerned with.
Right. I mean, and that's something, that's an argument, right? So should someone be blamed for, you know, should an artist be blamed for their entertainment, that it's like affecting someone? Like, you know, if someone watches The Terminator, is Arnold Schwarzenegger to blame if they're inspired to go shoot people up? You know, there's all these things, right? And this is why I believe in freedom, and this is why I believe that, you know, there's nothing should be off limits, because it is kind of fun. It is kind of like it is kind of like you're playing around. It isn't something to be taken, you know, too serious, right? Let's see here. The Voice Flamingo in the chat says video games and movies can influence people. Not everyone, but some. Quentin Tarantino was influenced by the movie he watched to make movies. Stephen King's book Rage influenced people. Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, it's all Quentin Tarantino. He's another one too. Quentin Tarantino has a whole bunch of movies. You know, he had Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, and it's the violence is super exaggerated. You know, Kill Bill is probably one of them where it's like the lady, the hero of the movie, the bride, you know, she's chopping people up, chopping limbs, and there's blood everywhere, and it's all an exaggeration. It's all like it's a movie, right? And to me, it is. I kind of do see it like as an outlet, right? When I'm playing video games, I'm playing a violent video game. You know, I'm playing God of War. I'm chopping people up and smashing heads and smashing skulls. It's kind of like a release, and I'm not there like, oh, I'm gonna go out and do this in real life. Like, no, I'm acting it out in the video game. So I just think that was interesting topic. So let me move on. So unless anyone else has any thoughts.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I play video games too. I love I love Overwatch. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one. And my character is Junkrat. So I blow the shit out of the people. You know, I just love throwing bombs. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go placing bombs everywhere. So all this BS that the games influence you, I don't know if it's true, because in the end of the day, it's up to the parents how they raise you and how much values they put into you, enough to know that this is now how you should behave in real life.
Right. All right, so let's see if this video here, I think this is a pretty funny video. All right, you guys should see my screen share.
Eating meat creates toxic masculinity, according to a university professor. Eating meat is bad for you, it's bad for the country, and it reinforces gender stereotypes, apparently.
Yeah, so apparently eating meat forces... This is a flashback clip.
But it tastes so good. So...
I watched this.
I hear you. I wish I could have half of that, but this doesn't look vegan, and I'm trying to be vegan.
You're a vegan?
It's really hard because I don't know if I told you I'm from Wisconsin.
Okay.
And cheese is like one of my favorite.
That looks pretty good. It's a little rare, medium rare.
Yeah.
Is
got
this
some nice dead cow hanging on your fork?
Is this bad that I'm eating meat?
If you go hunting, it's a totally different story, right? The blood's on your hands. Right now, you're kind of just enjoying the benefit, and the blood's on someone else's hands, and that's not very fair.
Something that intrigues me, by the way, because I was, I'm all about trying new things and stuff. I was vegan for 2 years.
You were a veganist.
Wow.
Yeah, I was vegan. And that's what I'm saying is, it's like, if I'm going to try something, I'm going to go all in. So, it is a very, you have to be very organized with that diet, and like you're looking at labels all the time, not so there's no meat in it, no dairy and stuff. And because of that, you do kind of see a sense of what you eat. But that is kind of something too, where they argue where vegans, they're completely against hunting as well. When you actually learn about hunting, you're actually usually hunters. People have a very bad misconception when it comes to hunters. They think hunters are like, they're bad people and they're aggressive people wanting to kill animals. And it couldn't be more completely the opposite. Hunters, you have to you respect the land, you respect animals, and when you're killing an elk, you're killing a deer, you're killing it in the most humanely way possible. You aim for the heart, and then they die right away. And guess what? When you kill an elk and you kill a deer, you get to keep that meat. And you keep that meat. That meat will last for a year. You have so much meat that you start giving it away to people. And that meat, not only is it healthy, but then you're not contributing to factory farms. Because even though I'm not vegan anymore, I hate to support factory farms. I think factory farms are one of the worst things out there because of how much meat production is out there and what they do to animals and everything. So I learned all of this, watching documentaries. I mean, I went all in when it came to veganism. Let's just watch it. Anyone jump in, by the way, if you want to say something.
What if they want to hunt meat, or what if they want to raise cattle?
Oh, totally. But the idea of killing and taking a life, that we should really deeply consider what that means for us as human beings. People have said you should judge a society by how it treats their animals. And it'd be great if we had universal health care for our animals.
What?
I don't know. Vet care for all.
Yeah, vet care.
I mean, it's a noble idea, I guess. I would like if maybe all animals had, like at least cats and dogs and horses had an insurance way, access to medical care.
But it's also but unrealistic. I mean, to be honest with you, I get you, Dreamer. I get you on that whole vegan thing because, I'm sympathetic with animals as well. And I wish I didn't have to eat them, but I tried being vegetarian and I failed after 2 weeks. So being vegan, I cannot imagine it. However, this takes me back when I was in Mexico, when I was growing up out there. And I remember we killed the pigs that we raised. You know, let me tell you something. Never ever name something that you think it's a pet and then you're gonna eat later, because then it's gonna hurt you. So we ate the pig that we were raising, and it was just so disgusting. We had also the chickens and the goats. To this day, I still cannot eat goat. But what I'm going with this is that I would rather buy the freaking animal already butchered. Like I said, it sounds terrible, but I'd rather buy it and then go ahead and kill it. So I don't agree with her on that one. I'd rather have somebody else with the blood than me.
Well, that's the argument that vegans will make. You know, when I was debating red pill philosophy, that's the argument. It's like, yeah, most people, when you go to kill an animal in front of them, they're going to be sympathetic. They would rather someone else do it. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, and I see what they're saying, but they try to say that that's proof that, oh, we're not supposed to kill animals because your reaction is that you don't want to see it. I think I think it is that you're sympathetic.
We're not used to killing animals in this current society, so yeah, that should be
just eating them.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, I'm just saying the arguments that they have, and it's like, you know, in Classy, you know, you're saying like, oh yeah, we should have, you know, healthcare for these specific animals. The vegan will turn around and then say, well, you're a speciesist.
I am. Well, yeah, I think certain animals provide more value than other animals. I think a dog is going to provide more value than a street rat.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I agree. But
sorry, going back to your argument about that, if you cannot kill an animal, then you probably shouldn't buy it in the grocery store. I think that's complete BS, because if I am really starving, I'd rather find an animal and then cut its head, even though I might be sympathetic. But this is why I told you, do not name them. Don't name them, because when you name them, then you grow some attachment. So when you raise a pig, don't name them, and just stab them in the heart and open them up and then cook it. But that's what I would do if I'm extremely starving.
Right.
Otherwise, I'll get it in the grocery store. That's about it.
Yeah.
Universal health care for animals, that could be expensive.
We can afford it.
Really? Because we're $20 trillion in debt.
I got some money.
Do you care more about people or animals?
I care about our world, and I think in order for us to achieve a more sustainable future, particularly regarding what's happening with climate change, we need to figure out how the 7.6 billion of us on this planet can be good neighbors, and we're really bad at being good neighbors right now.
Okay, so
right, and this is a point I wanted to talk about real quick, is that when you do talk to vegans, you know, one vegan that really kind of helped me convert to be a vegan, even though I'm not vegan anymore, was Vegan Gains, and I still watch his video. I like his content. You know, I'm a fan of his at the end of the day, and even though he is kind of out there, and you know, he plays a character, which I play a character too on my show. But you see a common theme with vegans. As someone, like I said, I was vegan for 2 years. I was in the community on YouTube and watching so many different people and exposure to so many different people. And the thing that you see, a common theme you see with vegans, is that maybe, yeah, they have all this special, you know, you know, care for animals and everything, but they don't seem to value human life as much. You know, a lot of vegans see humans as wasteful. Like, you know, like I said, I was vegan partly because of my ex-wife too, and she would say things like, oh, human beings were such, you know, we're a burden on the society. It would be so much better if we didn't exist, because
oh god,
we consume everything, we eat everything, we destroy everything. And like I said, this is a common talking point with many vegans. And I guess, you know, I'll open this can of worms, and Yo Mama will probably have an opinion about this too. You know, someone like Vegan Gains, he always is talking about abortion as well, and how like, oh yeah, you know, Vegan Gains, you know, he's from Canada, he's very liberal. He always talks about how with abortion, you know, yeah, we should be able to abort babies, and, you know, just has no, you know, they don't care about human life, and usually when someone doesn't care about human life, that's when they have those views about abortion. And it's like you see the difference when they're talking about animals and then they're talking about humans. It is completely different. They have like they see like I don't know. I just feel like they don't value human life the same as other people, right?
Yeah, I agree. I really don't have much to say about it. You pretty much dropped it all.
Yeah. I guess we'll move on to another topic, because that was pretty much milked all that. Anyone else want to do? This is a pretty.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't have much to say about veganism other than I tried it, and I just couldn't go through with it. I love meat.
Okay. So
but I'm sympathetic to the reason to become vegan. Yeah, we should look for less cruel ways to manufacture meat, and we should care about our environment. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Definitely.
Sure. All right, guys. So this is a pretty interesting story. I think you guys would have some thoughts here. I'm trying to gauge reaction. So it says here, jurors give $289 million to a man they say got cancer from Monsanto's Roundup, a weed killer. So let's just
Well, thank you. A former school groundskeeper in California who said he got terminal cancer from a weed killer. He's won big in court. Dwayne Johnson says he applied Roundup weed.
Dwayne Johnson, that ain't
that's not his name.
Yeah, I know.
Killer, which is made by Monsanto 20 to 30 times a year as a school groundskeeper. And he says that in 2014, he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. On Friday, a jury awarded Johnson $289 million in damages. But he says it's not just about the money.
I'm glad to be here to be able to help, but the cause is way bigger than me. So hopefully this thing will start to get the attention that it needs to get right so folks can make a good choice.
Monsanto has long maintained that Roundup does not cause cancer and that regulators help ensure that it's safe. The company says they plan to appeal this verdict.
That is pretty crazy. You know, and when it comes to, you know, this topic that we had tonight about InfoWars and about not believing the mainstream and everything, this is something too that a lot of people, you know, you got to understand that corporations and companies, they're not out for your best interest, right? That should be pretty obvious, but they're going to say what they have to say to sell you their product. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line is what corporations care about. So that they will want you to buy their product under no means necessary. You know, and
you sound like a socialist.
Oh yeah. I'm a capitalist, baby. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because, you know, there's so many and that's what the thing with the InfoWars is, that be open, be skeptical, go teach yourself. Why is there so many cancers out there? Why are people dying from diabetes, heart disease, right? It's because of what you're eating. You know, this is the small few of you guys who follow me on Snapchat. My Snapchat's down below. You know, I went to a hospital today and I just found it hilarious. It's like they have a McDonald's like inside the hospital. You know, it's like they serve McDonald's inside the hospital. It's attached. You know, all the nurses and patients are there. It's like, yeah, that's why everyone's sick. It's like, yeah, after they're done eating McDonald's, they're right there to go onto the medical bed and, you know, suffer from heart attacks and shit and heart disease. And it's like, this isn't a secret. You know, there's so
not all hospitals are built like that. And I mean, the hospital I volunteer for, yeah, we have a few shops around the area, a few restaurants in the area, but like we do have like their own cafeteria. You know.
Sure.
I just want to add that it's true that the companies are only looking for their best interest, whatever makes them money. And I'm not very familiar with this case in particular, but what I do know is the company Johnson & Johnson, the baby company, they actually have been gathering multiple lawsuits because some of their I don't know how to say it, talcum and their shampoos and all their product is causing cancer, and it was proven that it's causing cancer. And these are products that are used on babies, and of course, if also the adults touch the product, so they are also at risk. So this product is causing cancer, and it's still in the market. It's sold in Walmart. It's sold everywhere, and not a lot of people have knowledge of this. So I guess. I mean, even my sister, she had stocks in it, and they had to remove the stocks from there because they knew that at some point it was going to crash. But so far, it hasn't crashed, and people are still using this product. So it's kind of scary. I don't know what else is out there, but just be careful.
Yeah, talcum powder is nasty stuff.
Right.
I bought one and I didn't know that it was that bad, and I had to immediately throw it away. I looked it up. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I didn't use the entire product.
Yeah, I only use it sometimes for my shoes. Just whenever I use shoes that I don't wear socks in or whatever, just so my feet won't get slippery or whatever. But other than that, I will not use it.
Yeah, and there's so many documentaries out there that show, you know, the dangers of everything that's out there. Is you got to be careful. You got to be careful what you're putting in your body. Fragrances. You know, it's important to inform yourself, because as someone who has had family members pass away from cancer, you know, that's why I try different diets. That's why I go out there and inform myself. Don't wait until something happens with a family member, with yourself, for you to eventually go out there and start taking care of yourself. You know, deodorants. I know certain deodorants are linked to many women when it comes to breast cancer, because, you know, the armpit, you know, related to the woman's breast.
Really?
Which one?
I was not aware. Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too much. I don't know specifically, but just look into it. There are some links and some studies out there. Something that drives me crazy as well is when you see women, like, they'll put their smartphone, you know, on their breast, like in their bra, and it's like you do realize that you have like I'm sure you're guilty, but you know, it's very important not to do that, because you're having this device that's transmitting so many like wireless signals, you know, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cellular signals, all these signals. You're putting it right next to your breast. I mean, it's like a recipe for disaster.
You know what? I also used to sleep with my phone, and I'm like, holy shit! I started getting paranoid. I'm like, not anymore. I'm just gonna put it on the nightstand. But I even used to sleep with a cell phone, and I thought about it. I was like, no, probably not a good idea.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and those signals, they mutate the cells. I mean, that's what cancer is. Cancer is, you know, it's an overproduction of cells. And, you know, with these signals, that's what it could lead to that. You know, there's so much things out there. And
I think the cell phone one was debunked.
The cell
in particular.
Sure.
I have to look it up. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, I think that was touched on, that people
but the point is, you have to be careful with what sort. I mean, shouldn't it be better to be safe than sorry? It's like, oh yeah, it was debunked. You know what? I'm still gonna put cell phone in my bra. Why not? You know, it's better to be safe than sorry. You know, and you have to be careful with what information you trust. This is what the whole thing with the info wars. It's like, we are in info wars. People, you know, look at the sugar industry. That's the whole thing too. When I had the veganism debate, it's like, meat isn't the reason why we have so much obesity in this country. Isn't because of meat and dairy. It's because of carbs. It's because of sugar. You know, sugar is, you know, I always forget the name of the documentaries. I know the name of this one. I think it's called like Sugar Pill or something like that on Netflix, and it shows how sugar is in everything we eat. Sugar is in our tomato sauce. Sugar is in our, you know, butter, everything. Like everything you can imagine, there's sugar in it. And it's because of the sugar industry, we had a jacked up representation of the food pyramid, where you had, you know, remember the old school food pyramid where they had like all the breads and pastas, and you need to have most of that in your diet. It's like, no, if you have most of that in your diet, that is when you get overweight. That is when things like that happen.
To be fair, they did correct it now. If you actually look, it's not even a food pyramid anymore. It's like a food plate or something like that. And,
Yeah, that.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and Jason here in the comments says the cell phone thing was debunked. Liked how you are willing to dismiss that. I didn't dismiss it. I said it's better safe to be sorry. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I heard it may have been it was debunked here, but I don't care. Like, it's a personal thing. If you want to have your cell phone in your pocket, not near you, then sure.
Yeah, maybe it's completely debunked. I'm not here arguing about that. You know, all I'm saying is better to be sorry. That's all I'm saying, dude. But it's all good. Let me see here. I think we'll try to do one last story here. This is a pretty interesting video I found. People always like to talk about cops, and I was having this conversation with my mom about what cops have to deal with, and a lot of people don't understand. And you know, we are living in, you know, with the whole cop culture now with how we treat cops, and it's a kind of a big talking point, especially, you know, with police brutality. And it's like I said, it's a talking point that's going on right now. But I just wanted to get your guys' raw reaction to this video, and this will be the final story.
Mr. Warren, what I have here is a citation. Okay, it's going to be for what we discussed. The seatbelt. Okay?
Yeah. Perfect.
What I've done is I've assigned you a court date of 20 August at 10 o'clock in the morning. You can choose to appear in court.
Yeah.
If not, you have up until that date.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you loud and clear.
What I'm going to ask you to do is sign the bottom of this. I you have in fact received the citation.
Hey, no, man, I have my seatbelt on. Try that bullshit. I have my seatbelt on, nigga.
Okay.
So what?
Are you refusing to sign?
Do I have to sign it?
I'm giving you the option to sign it. Are you?
Do I have to sign it? If I don't sign it, will I go to jail?
Are you refusing to sign it?
If I don't sign it, will I go to jail?
No.
Are you sure?
What did I just say?
So if I don't sign it, you will not pull me out this car and take me to jail.
That is correct.
You will not issue a warrant out later so they can take me to jail later.
If you do not comply with the citation or appear in court,
boy, your breath stank like ass, man. On my mama, nigga.
You will have.
All right, man, give me the fucking shit, man.
Hey, are you gonna sign it or no?
I'm gonna sign it, you dumbass nigga. Duh.
Oh God.
You thought, nigga? I thought if I said give me it, I'm gonna sign it, nigga.
Well, then sign it, sir.
Give me the fucking.
Oh God.
Okay.
This cop has so much patience, dude. It's like,
yeah, it's like I could sympathize with the victim in most of these cases of police. I don't know if he's gonna brutalize the guy, but this guy is being a big dick at the moment.
Yeah, he's being a dick, and it's like, if there's some kind of injustice, you can't, like, you have to know how to deal with the situation. I've dealt with cops who have tried to overuse their power. Get the badge number, comply with the officer, be polite, and if you can, obviously record. Now we have video evidence, and then you're going to stand a better chance fighting it. Acting like this, you're just acting crazy, right?
Yeah, I'm well aware of the police brutality in America, and I'm easily on the side of the civilian. But oh my gosh, this guy, like, you don't have to beat his way, especially if the officer is very calm.
Showing you motherfuckers, man. Shitty ass courts, nigga.
Oh my gosh.
Man, hurry the fuck up, man. Pathetic ass cop, nigga. Your whole fucking squad pathetic, nigga. My mama, nigga.
Hey, sir, there's your copy.
Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you.
Get the fuck on, faggot ass nigga, boy. Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, guys, the reason I found this video is because I found it on Twitter. This dude's literal Twitter name is Mr. Ignorant. This is
whoa! Oh my god!
Like
oh God!
All right, guys. So that was the final story of the night.
Oh, come on! What about that clip I sent you on the DM?
I'm gonna play that later, Classy.
Why not?
Please, I'm begging you.
What's in there?
No, dude. Like everyone's just gonna jump off the stream. They don't want to watch that.
Wait, he sent you some hentai?
Yeah, some hentai.
Now I'm curious.
No,
you gotta do it.
No, it wasn't him.
It's not worth it. It's not
I'm getting tweets and they're saying play it.
No, it's nothing. Like when you see it, like, yeah, you shouldn't have shown me that bullshit. it's honestly nothing. It's honestly nothing. But that was guys, we're gonna cut this at we try to cut it before 11 just because I do actually have somewhere to be, but that's why we started this stream early. So if you guys enjoyed this stream, as you guys know, you know, we're doing every Saturday night. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for accompanying. Make sure to like the stream. If you want to help out, make sure you leave a comment, like the stream. Please go check out Black Lightning, of course, his YouTube channel. I will link that below. Your mama's YouTube channel. She's making YouTube videos now. Shout out to her. We're gonna leave her channel link down below, and of course, as always, Classy's links down below as well. Any final thoughts, guys, about the InfoWars? You know, frogs are gay or anything?
Yes. Alex Jones, we got your back. We're not gonna stay silent. Fuck the government. Fuck them trying to silence us. I'm gonna go hood on this. No, I'm kidding. No, that's it. Thank you so much for listening.
Nice. Nice little rallying call there.
Yeah, like if you're gonna say crazy things like Alex Jones, make sure to just let your audience know that you're doing this for entertainment, and please don't allow your words to hurt real people.
Right.
Yeah. Good advice. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Revenge of the Dreamer, and we will catch you next week. Peace out.
Bye.
Stay classy.